Hey everyone! Welcome back. I am back today. I am back today with the finale episode of Orb, you guys. It's all led up to this. I'm very bittersweet about it because it's been quite a journey. It's been quite a journey. Before I get into everything, I do just want to say if you're joining me early today, you know exactly what that means. It means you are one of my awesome patrons. Thank you so very much. I'm sending you those big old hugs right through that screen. If you're joining me on the YouTubes, thank you for being here today. I really hope you'll hit like, also subscribe for me. It does help me and my channel an awful lot. And another thing that helps me is if you could please check out the link to my Patreon. It's going to be in the description down below. You get full length, early access, uncut, unfiltered reactions, all different kinds of shows and anime going back years now. I hope you'll check it out, and thank you in advance for that. Alright guys, so I took a little break in between last episode and this one. I run my air conditioner a little bit, go take care of some things, and I was thinking about how tremendously funny it is that I was like, the last thing I said before I pulled up those notes, I was like, that's definitely Rafal. Like, there's no denying that. That's Rafal. And the first thing it said, like, Leonie knows me so well at this point. First thing it says, that was not actually Rafal. So, I don't know what the actual answer is. I mean, I had like a half a theory about it. But like I said, guys, I'm going to try not to get too carried away with my theories because I feel like I don't want to come up with something really dumb. And, you know, I think there are some theories on, from what I'm told, there are some theories on some of the, hang on, I got to sneeze. Excuse me. There are some theories about what exactly all this means, including whatever it is we're going to encounter in episode 25, and those will be in the notes, I believe. But I mean, like, I feel like I get real carried away. I'm sitting here wondering how many people have thought it's a ghost. Which I think is really, I just don't see this being, the most I could see this being was something a little bit more philosophical. You know what I mean? Like if this was just a manifestation of something or a representation or something of something. I mean, the craziest thing I was able to come up with is maybe like these are all people he knew, and if he's the one who really brings about heliocentrism, he kind of made a fictional story with all of them in it. But then, like, we haven't seen any of the other people who showed up, so I don't know if I don't think that's it. I really think that that would take away from their experience to say, like, oh, they were just made up. You know, they're just figments of his imagination. I mean, the other thing I was thinking is, you know, we did have the dream sequence with Oxy that one time. But that was somebody he knew, you know what I mean? That was something that happened to him. Of course, you know, there was that tower that a lot of people were saying was kind of like Tower of Babel. So maybe that was like more of a spiritual experience, but like, I think it's pretty clear, like his dad brought in like this dad saw, he's not a spirit. He's not, this isn't like a spiritual quest. Like Albert didn't fall on his head and he's going on a spirit quest. You know what I mean? Like that's not what's happening here. So I don't really know how they're gonna explain it away, but like I'm just gonna be aboard for the ride and just let them explain it to me. So yeah, guys. But I love the actual message. I love the kind of the lesson, the moral of the story that we did get in the last episode, which I really appreciate. And at the end of the day, you know, I have to see how it wraps up, but I was thinking about this also on my break, that like this really is a story. You think it's a story about heliocentrism, you think it's a story about science, you think it's a story about religion, you think it's a story about history, and yes to all those things, but really at the end of the day, it's a story about the human spirit. It really is. And I'm really curious to see how they're gonna just like, how they're gonna wrap this one up. And that's kind of all I got to say for now. Without further ado, let's go ahead. Let's jump right into the last episode, the finale episode. I can't believe I'm saying that, of Orb. Let's do this. They're there for the knowledge. We got a new free thinker. Yay, Albert. I'm just like, I'm half expecting to see just like everyone there alive. You know what I mean?
もしかしたら今後真理は発見されるものではなく作られるものということがある種前提になるかもしれない。
That's an interesting comment.
過去の書物や遺国を見るとそれぞれに違う歴史や文化、信仰がある。今はまだ情報が少ないけど、この先さらに自分たち以外とつながれば。
If we can just share, I mean, think of like what would he have thought of the digital age, you know? Like we're able to share so much on the internet, it's crazy.
君らと新しく入った少年の好奇心に乾杯。
He's like, I'm part of something. All right, here comes the non-demo. Remember, we gotta watch. Leonie told us we gotta watch for stuff. Everyone pay attention. We gotta watch for older Rafal right before young Rafal. All right. Okay. I was trying to pick out the differences last time. That's the same. Pretty sure. That's the same. This part is all different from what it was, and I love that. All right. Oh, and then, okay. Was it the same? I don't know. I feel like there used to be someone there. A lot of this looks the same to me. That part and the coin and the... Oh, right, the pendant ends up in his hand. It's one of the things we're watching. It ends up in Albert's hand. Oh, I did see. Ah, was it always there? Or did they change that? Wow. And it adds, yeah. Oh, I see. I smell what you're cooking. My question is, how is this all going to go wrong?
じゃあちょっと僕は用があるから席を外すけど、君は楽しんでくれ。あっちのテーブルで宇宙論の話。
That cosmology table is over there. If this is all people we know, no, it's not. I was gonna say, if this is just like Oxy and Danny, I'm gonna scream. Yeah, go and enjoy the free thinking. Oh, that's why we freaked out. Oh, yeah, well, one day is probably not gonna kill you. Yeah. This is, I really feel like one day is, but he doesn't want to skip them. What's the other way to look? Oh, he's like, no, I gotta. He's, the thing, oh no, this is where it's all gonna go wrong. It's all gonna go wrong or something, I don't know. Is his dad dead? His dad's dead. They found out what he was doing and they came to kill the dad. Oh! No! Tell me that's not Rafal standing there killing the dad. No! Okay, that's not Rafal. That's a demon wearing a Rafal suit. Because there's no way Rafal would just like kill somebody's father in cold blood. I don't think. Oh my god. Yeah, what is happening right now? Well, no wonder he turned on learning. Yeah, but we're pretty confused. Rafal, you better start talking right now. Stop with your fluffy words and start explaining. Explain how this man came at you and tried to kill you or something. Okay. They're just trying to give me an aneurysm now. The dad didn't like that he was doing this or something. And Rafal was like, too bad. Did he have some of the heliocentrism stuff? Yeah, and you killed him for it. You killed him because you wanted it. Yeah, I was gonna say he wouldn't kill him because he had it, like the Inquisitors.
君のお父さんの手には余る代物だ。
So you killed him.
僕の頭脳と社会的地位がなければ宝の持ち腐れに
Wow.
協力の見返りも十分与えるし、双方が得する提案だった。
And you killed him for it.
けどここで問題発生だ。彼は僕の誘いを断った。迷いもせず。
I think
この説は
maybe.
現状の宇宙論と異なるもので弾圧される可能性も。
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think it's because he wanted to. He didn't want to share. Yeah, he was like, I gotta. Well, that's kind of what his dad did for him. I mean, this isn't really Rafal, but he was trying to protect his kid too. The right political moves. Oh, you're a wheeler and dealer, new
粘
Rafal.
り強く説得してたら彼は怒り始め、
Oh dear
最後
God.
には資料を燃やすと言った。
How he would even get them is a mystery.
知だの学びだの言っておいて、所詮保身に走る俗物。
I'm sorry, I don't think protecting your kid is. I shouldn't speak ill of your father's. I stand over his corpse with a knife in my hands. It was really impolite of me. Oh my dear God. Is that what you call it? Oh, wow.
知を共有しないで独占してた。
And that to you is the okay. You know what's interesting is like everybody has their thing that they're like zealous about. You know what I mean? With him, it was like freedom of information. Well, I was way off in everything I was saying last time. Wow.
さあ、これで納得したろ?
And what? Would we just let him walk out of the house? I guess we just let him walk out of the house. Oh, he was captured. Okay. Wow. That really changes a lot. I gotta say, I can kind of see how he has a bad taste in his mouth now.
どちらか選択する必要がありますか？疑念と信念、二つ持っていて。
I mean, what if you just had both and they kind of were a system of checks and balances?
は神でも獣でもない、その中間に存在する。
I mean,
でもだからこそ矛盾を。
Right. I mean, this is actually making a lot of sense, considering this might be the blonde monk.
話を聞くに、あなたは今神を失っている。
Oh, maybe that was part
この
of.
世界が存在するという奇跡を感じられないでいる。
That was, you know, a lot of people down this line felt that they were discovering God in their own way.
偶然のことです。と同時に、偶然に満ちた領域で必然が生まれることです。昔のあなたはそれらを。
And you don't feel it now. You don't feel that wonder anymore, and that wonder kind of was like tied to your soul in a way, tied to your, maybe even to your faith. I have a hair on my lip gloss again.
空を見ればいいんです。
Yeah, look for your answers up there, and see if you feel that presence again.
これはそんな簡単な問題じゃないです。
Maybe you're making them. Maybe you can.
でも乗り越えられないわけじゃない。
Maybe you can break them down a little bit.
私が昔友人を見殺しにしたことです。
Oh my God, it's totally the blonde monk.
発端は友人がある仕事で重大な違反を犯してしまった。
It tracks.
取り返しのつかないことをした。その結果、彼は死んだ。しかし、彼の罪が重いからこそ彼を諭し、救うことが重要だった。
Oh. That's interesting.
あの過去から目をそらしてきたことです。
So he is quite old, so the time could add up.
この悩みを言葉にできた。そのせいで、今日からより一層再。
Sometimes it's worse like not knowing, you know what I mean? What could have been.
神は私たちを認めてくださる。そして神は。
I really believe if you go out there thinking like I want to explore God's world, like I was not gonna, you know what I mean?
私たちが私たち自身を乗り越え、神に向き合わなければ。
Yeah. that's the thing, is the sincerity, I think, makes all the difference.
その答えを探してください。
Yeah, you should go figure it out.
何のために？
この世で
Yeah, so that you can find your purpose again. Oh, I hope he doesn't die. But I think just anyone on the show is going to die. I think we just need to accept that. Yeah, look up. Look up. You know what? Fake Rafal did have a point about the feeling that you get. It's just, it's weird because there were some things he was on the mark, he was on the nose about, and it's just the lengths to which everyone took it that like really made the difference in whether or not they were, yeah, and he's ceasing. Oh, I mean, that might be true, but wow, Rafal, you really took that to a dark place. Oh, much like Novak, he had a lot of good and bad to offer. Finish it, yeah. Oh my god, he's gonna be the one. He's gonna be the one to see this all through. Wow. Oh, I remember seeing that same look in Oxy's eyes. To be able to overcome that kind of tragedy and anguish and grief and see something beautiful again is, I really think that's so innately human. That is a human gift. He was maybe right about that part. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. See, that's the thing, is like everyone was kind of trying to achieve their version of the right thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, that is fair. His dad was hiding, but I think he had kind of good reason, though, considering everything we know. Yeah, like you had some things right, but I'm gonna forge my own path. You can do both. I think he really got it. He took all of the things that we have learned before, and it's just like, you know what? You can have that dichotomy. That dichotomy is what kind of keeps you going. I think he's gonna allow it. Yeah. Hi, Albert. Here you are. There we go. Good luck in your studies, Albert. Right, his hometown. Wow. I think we'll get more in the notes. But there is something I kind of have a half a hint about who he is. Wow. Oh, it almost kind of looks like he was looking at the... Oh, so Rafal got burned at the stake in this world too? Or is that other Rafal? No, that's... Oh, I think that's... I think that was... Rafal, yeah. So we're going to see each one, and when they looked up, they all were looking at that same sky, and I feel like Albert gets it. I feel like he's just a synthesis of everything that came before him, and he's going to be the one to see it through. Wow. Oh my god! So there were just... Oh my god. That was the letter. Saying that... Yup, the 10%. Was that what she sent out on the pigeon? Oh! just happens to be passing by
地球の運動に
on the movements of the earth. And here's where it all connects. Oh, is he the one?
天球だし
No. I thought maybe he was the one who sent it. But I think it was Draka. He's like, you know what? I'm not going to turn down free money. He's going to say no to that.
地球の運動について
Is that what? Are you kidding me? That in passing, like I thought he was going to discover a bunch of information or something, or discover his dad's, because apparently his dad had info on it. Oh my God! Here we go.
アルベルト・ブルゼフスキは23歳
Age 23.
クラクフ大学
Okay.
に入学。後に同大学で20年にわたり
All
教員と
right.
して働く。大学では主に
Did he just like get the idea for heliocentrism and decide to pursue it on his own? Yup. That was enough to get him thinking.
1482年、彼は当時の天文学の教科書
Did he now?
惑星の新理論への注釈書を書き、同書は大学で広く学び続けられた。
I think some of this is real.
1491
Okay.
年、彼の注釈書で天文を学んだ同大学の生徒の一人にコペルニクスという名の青年がいた。
Oh! All of that chain of events! Holy crap! Because, I mean, I was kind of watching this at the beginning, like, where's Copernicus? Oh my God, you've got to be freaking kidding me. That was, you know, I gotta tell you, Albert, wow. Hang on, can we go back to this? Albert was able to put together the best parts of every person before him and accept that doubt and belief are not opposites. They work in conjunction. And I mean, I know a lot of us have been saying that for a while. We were like, yeah, but like you can, it's just so interesting to me because every character along the way has expressed some part of what he kind of ended up making his belief, including his mentor. He learned from his mentor and from his dad that, like, okay, freedom of information is good, but hurting people over it is not, you know? There is beauty to be found in the world around you. But he was going to forge his own path. He was going to take everything before him and make it his own. And I think that's why and just the fact that he just happened to be passing by when he heard the name of the book. I mean, that it was enough to spark. It's why you got to stay wandering, you guys. It's why you got to keep that curiosity going. Because that was enough to spark his curiosity. Like, maybe and that's him at the end. It was so good. All right, you guys. It's time for the notes. It's time for the notes before I get into everything. It's time for the notes. Let me find them. And then I'll tell you everything I thought, because honestly, I think that was a beautiful ending. And there is something just hilariously ironic about the fact that, like, you're kind of half expecting, I can take these out now, you're kind of half expecting him to happen upon the information. And it's like all that they went through, you're expecting, oh my God, somebody's gonna like find this, they're gonna find this information, they're gonna find, like, this is gonna be it. At the end of the day, it all came down to an idea. Just the idea was enough to spark something, for him to be curious about it, for him to spark the same curiosity in somebody who would go on to bring it to the world. All right, let's get to our notes. Good Lord. Episode 25. Orb and the Movements of the Earth is a fictional story that, for the most part, explores heliocentrism, how it was researched, the obstacles people faced while working on it, and the tragic fates that accompanied this knowledge. Until episode 23, we follow various protagonists who are fictional characters. There is no historical evidence that they ever existed, but that doesn't mean they might not have existed. We just don't know yet. That's essentially what Orb tries to convey up to episode 23, which that was what I knew some people had said, like, okay, well, Albert is actually like a real person. So that's kind of the difference, you know. Many people worked on the same idea at different points in history, but their discoveries were never made public, or they died or were killed before they could publish them. And so they were forgotten by history. It makes you wonder how many people worked on how many different things, and just like a crumb of what they worked on ended up in the hands of one person and another person and another person, and that's the person who we know about today. You know what I mean? Like, that's pretty profound. Starting from episode 24 in Orb, we follow a historical figure, Albert. It is historically proven that he laid the foundation for heliocentrism. He studied it at the university and was also the teacher of Copernicus, which we just learned, who is considered the first and most famous scholar of heliocentrism. In the first episode of Orb, we learn that our story takes place in the Kingdom of P. The author chose a fictional version of Poland to write his own interpretation of how heliocentrism was explored by individuals and how they dealt with this knowledge. By the end of episode 23, it becomes clear that the story has now shifted into the real Poland and now features Albert as a historically verified protagonist. This is all Leonie, by the way. I had nothing to do with this. You can thank Leonie for all of this. This essentially means that our beloved characters whom we followed up to episode 23 were ultimately forgotten by history. And that's one thing that I think really struck me once we got into the Albert stories. Like, none of that ever, and the fact that it just like never ever came to light is just so crazy to me, because I half expected there to be so, like, even just one piece of paper, you know what I mean? Okay, so where did I leave off? But what's important is that the letter Draka managed to send with the carrier pigeon in her final breath was the pivotal moment that inspired Albert to even consider researching heliocentrism in the first place. So it's crazy to me that all of the effort, like they basically, like at one point Badeni had done it, like he had the whole thing was like sealed up, he had figured it out. And you look at all the work and effort that went into every single part, and it's true, like that was all forgotten by history. Like, for all we know, there were people who were really doing that, and we didn't know because they were lost to time, you know? But it wasn't fruitless, you know? Because at the end of the day, that just a title, just the letter that got out because of Draka was all it took. Just one little spark. And human curiosity did the rest. So, and the legendary meme that 10% of the book's profits should go to Pataki should remain until the very end. It's not just some random meme. It holds deep significance, not only for the story of Orb, but also for our world history in general. Even if it didn't actually happen that way, it could have happened similarly in reality. Like, what did spark Albert, you know? Like, what do we know? I don't know. Apparently we don't. It's entirely possible that Albert was influenced by a rumor or something he overheard, something originating from people long forgotten, and that this was what allowed him to put his idea into words and begin exploring it more deeply. That's what makes it all so fascinating. Many people thought when they saw the slightly older looking Rafal that it was an alternate universe. I just feel like this is not the series for that. You know what I mean? I just feel like this is not like a sci-fi. This is very grounded. But it crossed my mind that the first 23 episodes took place in a different universe than the following two. I have to admit, I thought the same thing at first, but then I watched some theories and explanation videos and found a very different interpretation, which we kind of know. If you know that, like, clearly it was the original Rafal that did the whole 10% thing. So they couldn't possibly be two different. I mean, I guess they could, but I don't know. I crossed my mind, I'm not going to lie, but I'm like, nah, it doesn't, something about that just doesn't feel like it's this show, you know? Like, maybe they just swerved at the end and were like, you know what, let's just make this into like a multiverse thing. But like, I don't know. But I knew from you guys that Albert was a real person, so that kind of helped too. And when you know that, it does kind of help you figure out, like, oh, okay, so like when they said forgotten to history, or like nobody will know your name or anything, it's like, oh, okay, it does kind of help you string that together. So I'm glad that I had just a little bit of knowledge going into this. I think that was beneficial. because they really don't, I mean, the Rafal thing is still, I don't know how old a Rafal is a thing, but let's keep reading. And that's the next thing. The reason Rafal looked exactly the way we knew him was simply a choice made by the author for the audience's sake. It's a way to show the viewer a connection in a different way, that the pursuit of knowledge isn't just toxic on the religious side, it can also be toxic on the education side. Those beliefs, no matter where it starts, for belief in God or belief in science. If left unchecked, it can produce toxic things. And I think that's brilliant, because, and we kind of saw that a little bit, that like with the Heretic Liberation Front, that like, okay, like they're taking a totally opposite stance, but yet they're still kind of engaging in some stuff that, you know, they've taken it to an extreme. And I think that's actually a really good point, that like this idea of like freedom of information, like we heard Oxy talking about it, and it's like, oh my God, that's so profound, that is it. But anything taken to a point where you would use it to harm somebody, it's not it. It's not it. And I do appreciate that they showed both sides, you know, that like anything can be, you know, taken to a very harmful extreme under the circumstances. Okay, in the first 23 episodes, we repeatedly saw that religion and the church were portrayed as toxic forces, ones that suppressed new ideas and prevented people from exploring and discovering new knowledge. And we quickly learned, even within the first few episodes of the anime, that this was the wrong path. And now in the final episode, we see a different side of toxic behavior. The older Rafal we see here is a reference to the idea that even the pursuit of knowledge can take a wrong turn. I actually love that. I love that as an explanation. That is just purely for the audience to see that, like, okay, this person has a lot of the same traits, a lot of the same beliefs and motivations as Rafal, but anything thrown out of balance can be harmful. Like, at the end of the day, yeah, just yes to all of this, basically. There's more, so I'm going to keep reading. Because when someone places their own principles above those of others and is only focused on enforcing what they believe to be right, that too is not a true path to gaining or sharing knowledge. I personally, I feel like that's why Yolanda was like, keep wandering. Because if you get too stuck in any one thing, and she herself was like, she was a founder of the Heretic Liberation Front, and she was like, I can recognize it about myself that like I've doubled down on this to the point where like I've killed people. I've had other people kill people. Like, and I'm not trying to absolve myself of that. I'm just saying the best thing you can do is keep wandering. The best thing you can do is never get so I don't want to say committed to one belief. It's not a bad thing to be committed to your beliefs. But if you are so entrenched in something that hurting others looks like a good idea to you, you probably need to step back. You probably need to wander a little bit. You probably need to take a break from whatever that belief is, or just take a break from your level of it, and really assess, why am I doing this? You know, is this what, you know, does this benefit the world? Does this benefit the, you know, is this what God would really want? Is this what really benefits human knowledge and the pursuit of knowledge and the pursuit of like curiosity and like killing people because of their knowledge? You know, I think that's actually a wonderful point. The Rafal we saw here, the one who killed Albert's father, is not the same Rafal we knew from the first 3 anime series. He's simply a young man who happens to share the same name and similar appearance, but he has a completely different backstory. And if you look back through history, you'll find he had a totally different... I guess I must have missed that part, because it kind of sounded like he had a similar backstory. In that I don't know if he was taken in by, I don't know. He just said that like he ended up, he was like an orphan, and I'm like, oh, okay, so it's Rafal. But he probably did, and I just missed it. And if you look back through history, you'll find many people who bear similarities to well-known figures or even share the same facial features. That kind of thing can definitely happen, especially when you're talking about like this one particular region. You know, if it's is it raining? Oh my God, it is raining outside right now. Like, what is happening? It was like 1,000,000 degrees, and now it's raining. Like, the weather does not know what it wants. Anyway, if you're in an area, like, I don't know a lot about 15th century Poland. I apologize. I'm not very up on my history. But if you're in a place that is sort of like small, contained, you know, homogenous, whatever. Like, I think it's very possible that you get a lot of people with similar features. So that probably was, you know, that makes the most sense out of anything. That, like, yeah, it's definitely just that he did that for our benefit. Let's see, where was I? That can definitely, yeah, it can definitely happen. All in all, the ending of Orb can be interpreted in many different ways. Everyone can come up with their own theory about how to understand the ending and what role the older Rafal really plays. What is clear, though, is that he has no connection to the Rafal from the first 3 episodes. And I'm genuinely curious to hear how you interpret it. Well, I mean, I definitely was going through a lot trying to interpret it. At the end of the day, I kind of knew I should just... Honestly, the one thing I didn't think is just... for no reason he's Rafal. Like, I think I was so hung up on the idea. See, I needed to wander a little bit in this. I needed to detach a little bit and be like, maybe he just happens to be, maybe it's just coincidence, you know? That was the one thing I didn't think of. That, like, it was just the author's choice. So I was wrong on everything. But I wasn't really committed to anyone. And it ends with saying, I hope these notes help you. And yes, oh, my girl, they did. Thank you so much. Because, I mean, like, I wouldn't say that I got too carried away on theories, which I'm glad about. I kind of knew to just sort of like, okay, just kind of, you know, just don't let it take you out of it. Just go with it. Because, like, clearly the emphasis here is on other things. You know what I mean? But yeah, my biggest interpretation was probably just that, like, I don't know. But, you know, I had the interpretation just, very, very first, I was like, oh my God, don't tell me this is going to be the only thing I could really, the only connection I could draw is, like, what if this is like a, you know, you learn, you get to meet, like, dead people through books kind of thing. And, like, so, but there was no book. There was no, like, the whole point was all of that was lost to history. So, like, even that, like, none of anything that I came up with, and I knew that in the moment, made any kind of sense. And so I just kind of went with it. So, and I'm glad I didn't get so stuck in one theory that it, like, took me out of it, and I totally, you know, just misinterpreted and was, you know, the points that they were trying to make were lost on me. But I couldn't agree more about how they really showed all sides of extremism, you know? They showed all sides of, whoa. Why does my chair feel like that? That can't be good. I hope it's not breaking. Feels kind of wobbly. Buffy, I don't know if you want to sit right under this chair right now. Buffy's, like, laying under it. I know about that, Buff. You might need to make your exit. Anyway... what I really love is that they really did show all sides. Like, they did not take a hard stance on anything except for really showing you all sides of everything. And I'll give you an example. You know, they did not, this was not a, like, the church is bad, science is bad, people are bad, you know, this group is bad, this whatever is bad. It's really the point of this, and this is what I love about it, was to show you that, and honestly, like, Rafal and Novak's, like, death dream kind of said it best when it was like, you know, we're all just kind of, we're products of our time, and we're doing what we think is right, and some of us get it and some of us don't. Either way, we kind of, you know, we do what we do throughout history, you know. And I love that this really showed, like, there was a lot of good and bad that the church was doing. There was a lot of good and bad that the education community was doing. And I think kind of the point is that if any belief, or, you know, like, it's not bad to have beliefs, but if you have a belief and your way of expressing it is, you know, leading you to harm others, your belief might not be bad, but you need to take a step back and look at how you're carrying that out. And that, I feel like, is what Albert figured out at the end. And he even disagreed with his dad not, you know, sharing knowledge, not sharing information, you know. He was able to take the good and the bad from, and I love this idea that, like, you could take good from something and leave the bad part behind. You know what I mean? Like, we can recognize that there was a lot of good ideas in what Rafal was saying. Fake Rafal. Older Rafal. Not Rafal. there was so much truth and so much goodness and kindness even in what he was saying. We could take, instead of being so burned, that's a very poor choice of words with Rafal, even though it was not the same Rafal, but instead of being so burned on what had happened to him, he was able to take the good from Rafal, from his dad, and recognize what had gone wrong there and leave that behind and take it with him and make it his own. And I feel like, in a way, even though he didn't know any of those people at all, he kind of embodied a lot of the best of all the beliefs that came before him, because he did have, it seemed, even up to the end, had a strong dedication to his faith. He did have this just thirst for knowledge and passion for learning about the world around him, to the point where it was something that completed him as a person and even contributed to his way of worshiping. You know, it was that innate in him. He did recognize the importance of sharing information, of learning new things, of, investigating all avenues, regardless of whether, he was hanging out with some people who were like talking about some dangerous stuff, and he was able, I think, to really synthesize that and not get caught up in the like, oh wait, we don't learn about this, but at the same time was able to recognize that one particular ideology does not make you right. Your ideology is not what makes you right or a good person. It really truly is how you carry that out and how you interact with the world using it. And even at the end, he was like, humans are social animals. Like, at the end of the day, I really feel like whatever your stance is, I feel like you're probably on the right path when it's somehow blessing others, and not harming them. If your faith is in God, how is that blessing the world around you? If your commitment is to the pursuit of knowledge and education and science, how is that helping the world around? And that's kind of what the dad was saying, except that I feel like Albert just kind of took that and was like, yeah, but you know what? If we could share all that info, but also not be so overzealous to the point of like we would kill someone who wasn't sharing their info. I feel like he got it. Albert got it. And really the message at the end of the day was not super complicated. Be decent. Don't do what fulfills you and don't hurt others with it. It was kind of simple at the end of the day. Yet we went through a lot with it, because it took a lot of people confronting their own beliefs to try and really just break it down to that concept. And so anyway, so that's my assessment of the last episode and kind of the series as a whole. I will just say, overall, I really don't think I've ever seen anything like this before, ever. I don't think I've ever seen any kind of series, definitely not an anime like this, that is really not just about one thing. It's not just a historical piece. It's not just a kind of a documentary type of this is how this came to be. It's not just drama. I think it was more than that. I think that it kind of bringing it around to like real world events in the end was a very interesting, that was a super interesting take, to have the whole thing kind of be more or less fiction that we know of up to a point, and then bring it around to like real world events. I think it was a really great way to sort of straddle the lines of history, science, drama, philosophy, fiction, nonfiction. That was some really bold choices from this author, honestly, and I'm here for it. I appreciate that, but I've definitely never seen anything like this before. It was really, really good. Was it a popcorn flick type, where like you could just really be giddy at every single second? Absolutely not. It definitely had a ton of tragedy in it. It was a much heavier, it was not a slice of life, but I really think that what it did so well. And honestly, it was so character driven that like it makes you care more about what they're talking about. Like I don't know about you guys, but I wasn't waking up every day and really thinking about heliocentrism. You know, that was not, it was not on my mind a whole lot. I'm sad to say. But if you have a story good enough and interesting enough and with great characters, I really could not, for me, the two big things about this were the twists and the way that it was done, I think kind of in a way that leaves everything up to the viewer's interpretation. Like it definitely is, it's supposed to make you think. It's not telling you, so it's not talking at you. It's kind of giving you pieces to your own puzzle in a way. And the other thing was the characters were just, I mean, how could you not? I mean, really, I think Oxy and Badeni were just just so lovable. They were probably my favorites. I think Draco's story was amazing. I think Rafal being the one to kind of like start and end all of it in a way, because he was the one who started the whole 10% thing. And to think that that is what it all came down to. It's just there's an amazing irony about it. But I think Oxy and Badeni were probably my favorites. They were the ones we got to know the most. And what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the characters in this just were, I feel like that's what drove a lot of the story for me. But the plot in and of itself was done in such an interesting way, in a very unique way, that like I can honestly say, like I never see anything like this. I don't think I'll ever see anything like it again. I would be very curious to know what else this author has done, because this was just, I mean, a very, very unique and clever way to do this. When I first got into this, I'm like, oh, this is going to be kind of like maybe kind of like a historical drama like Vinland Saga, or maybe kind of like a, you know, I mean, I could not have called any of the stuff, places we were going to go. I really could not have called it for the life of me. And I love that. I'm at the stage in my life, I am old enough at this point in my life where like anything that can surprise me automatically like jumps to the top for me, because not a whole lot surprises me anymore in a lot of, especially like the genres that I watch. I love it. I love the tropes personally. Like I'm not complaining, but like you watch enough stories and you can kind of usually see like, oh, maybe it's gonna be like this, maybe it's gonna go like that. Anything that surprises me, and I do have an awful lot of things that I've watched and am watching that are still surprising me, so I'm very, very happy about that. But like anything that really takes me back that much is like, okay, you have done your job. You have got my attention. You have got my attention. And this just did it so well. So yeah, guys, I loved it. What a journey. Thank you to Leonie for the notes and for requesting this series in the first place. This was Leonie's editor's pick. So anyone who enjoyed this, you can thank Leonie for that, because I had never even heard of it. But I really, really enjoyed this. And thank you to everyone who just showed up with comments, with so much like zeal for this. Not overzealous to the point where you would hurt somebody over Orb, but a lot of good zeal, a lot of reasonable zeal. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed watching along with me. Stay tuned. Just keep checking the schedule on what's coming next, because it is going to be a little up in the air for a couple of weeks. But I will have something coming next to replace the series. And wow, just what a journey, you guys. What a wonderful orb. What a wonderful orb. Please, whatever it is in the future, be sure to join me next time, and we will watch it together. Bye for now, guys.